Hey VC, this is Harvey of Spin the Black Circle, and welcome to Friday Night Vinyl. Hope everyone is well and doing good things. So as you may have seen from the tag, I am claiming to have picked up a couple of ridiculously great vinyl bargains and some other stuff. I want to pour further cold water on the suggestion that you have to sell the family farm to enjoy this hobby. You really don't. It's about patience, it's about due diligence, and it's about being deliberate, as I've said in some of my earlier videos. And so I'm going to talk about that and a couple of other select vinyl pickups. I've got so much backed up in terms of content and records that I've bought and a couple of ideas, but this is a straightforward haul video. So back to these what I'm claiming to be ridiculously great bargains. The first is a 1960 mono pressing of a classic Aretha Franklin LP. Aretha Arrives on Atlantic Plum. Original pressing. This cost me £2 today in a bargain bin in Segatron Records. Now, here's the rub. When I picked this up in the shop, it had fingerprints all over it, visibly covered in dirt, hence it was in the £2 bin. Also, the cover was hanging off at the bottom, so I've needed to glue it back on and I've needed to clean the cover up as well. Now then, what I looked for when I picked that up in the £2 bin, thinking, wow, I can't believe this is in the £2 bin, is that because it's got gouges all over it. I was looking for deep scratches, anything that might involve a significant disruption to playback, and I couldn't see that. I could just see a lot of dirt and a lot of thumbprints and fingerprints all over it. So knowing that I've got a record cleaning machine, which I think you need some sort of record cleaning process. If you've got a sizable record collection, you should have some cleaning process. It doesn't have to be an expensive one. I've got a Project VCS Hoover cleaner, and I use pre-mixed solution. But you need to have something, VC, especially if you're going to delve into this second-hand market from eras when people really didn't look after their records, right? But anyway, back to this. After having been cleaned twice, actually, on the Project VCS, this is VG, I would say. There are no skips on this, very few pops or clicks, mainly just more surface noise than you'd find on a brand new record, but nothing that actually disturbs playback or disrupts the quality of your listening experience. It sounds like what it is, which is an almost 60-year-old Atlantic Plum label, classic Aretha Franklin record, and it absolutely screams out of the speakers. Unbelievable for £2. So there you have it. I glued the cover back together, as I said, cleaned it up, and it just looks it looks and it sounds unbelievably good. So Aretha Arrives, £2, with that classic Jerry Wexler Atlantic Records, the core period of Aretha Franklin's greatness. Aretha Arrives, £2 on vinyl. And similarly, for the same price, but actually Pete Bonner at Segatron gave me this for nothing because the cover was hanging off. Aretha Now, also on Atlantic Plum label. Now, this is the alternative UK cover. For those in the US, I think it was green in the US. So different colour, texture all together on the cover. But again, a classic Aretha record. Probably even more so than Arrives, actually. Here you've got Think, I See a Little Prayer, her amazing version of Sam Cooke's You Send Me. And again, I would say actually this is in VG Plus condition. Unbelievably solid. I think there's something about these Atlantic Plum records too. I think, if I think about the Zeppelin collection I've got on original UK Atlantic Plum, they're definitely pressed on good quality vinyl. It's probably 140 grams rather than 180 because there wasn't that penchant for 180 grams in the 60s or early 70s. But if I think about how good this sounds, even though it's almost 60 years old, if I think about the Zeppelin LPs and also the Crosby, Stills and Nash early albums I've got on Atlantic Plum, they just sound unbelievably good. So again, Aretha Now, that would have been £2, but because the cover was hanging off, I got it for no money at all while I was in the shop buying other stuff. So just think about that. £2 each, this would have been £2. Two classic Aretha Franklin albums, What an unbelievable set of bargains. The final of the three ridiculously great bargains in the £2 bin was this Kim Carnes LP from 1979, this St. Vincent's Court album by Kim Carnes. It's on the EMI reissue label Fame, which actually I find is really good quality reissue pressings on the, it was kind of a mid-price, cut price, early 80s reissue of classic EMI label albums. Some of Bowie's albums were released on the Fame label, for example. But yeah, this is unplayed for £2. I could see it was unplayed. There's nothing around. The spindle had suggested it had been played. I still cleaned it up, but it's in mint condition for £2 and a really good Kim Carnes album. For those who've seen the Netflix documentary, I think it's called The Greatest Day in Pop, which tracks the recording of the Live Aid single "We Are the World," the US "We Are the World" single, and Kim Carnes' vocals on that when they go around and Michael Jackson sings, and then Huey Lewis, Cyndi Lauper, then Kim Carnes. She's got a really fantastic kind of rough-hewn, guttural texture to her voice, but amazing power in her voice too. So yeah, Kim Carnes, St. Vincent's Court, £2 in mint condition on vinyl. I mean, come on. Right, other hauls then. Moving away from the ridiculous bargains, but still ridiculously good records, in my opinion. I'm continuing down my path of being close to a Rolling Stones completist. They're definitely my favourite band, possibly challenged by Pink Floyd, but they're up there. And I already had a mono pressing of original pressing of Let It Bleed, which is here in really great condition from the cover to the Decca album. But the thing about it is, it sounds great, but the Let It Bleed 1969 mono was a fold down from stereo, so mixed in stereo, and then kind of someone hit a mono button to fold it down rather than being true mono. Still sounds great though, but yeah, mono sounds really good. But then I thought, I still want the stereo original pressing, and I found that for not much money actually, going back to the bargain thing, for £20, and this is in at least VG plus condition. This original or maybe second pressing Decca stereo of the Stones classic album. Now it's denoted in terms of whether it's stereo or mono on Let It Bleed by whether there's a blue circle there, as you can see on the back cover. That means it's a 1969 mono of Let It Bleed. Sorry, stereo of Let It Bleed. And then the mono has a red circle on the cover to denote mono. So if you're in the wild and you're looking for original pressings of Let It Bleed and you want a mono, then you're looking for that red stamp on the back. If you want a stereo of Let It Bleed, then it's blue. But yeah, continuing my Stones completist thing, I'm now very happy that I have both a mono and a stereo of that album. Now, the final thing I want to show you is a reissue. It's a fantastic reissue on the Acoustic Sounds label, and it's by the blues legend Son House, and this is the legendary Son House, father of folk blues. So this is a heavy-duty Acoustic Sounds reissue, absolutely superbly pressed. Everything from the cover to the quality of the vinyl. And it's dead silent. It's quite a bracing LP to listen to at first, actually, because it's essentially, other than a couple of tracks, Son House, just solo acoustic and singing. But wow, once you get used to that tenor of just hearing somebody with no accompaniment, what a talent Son House was. So I think he was in his 50s when he recorded this, maybe even his early 60s. But the quality of it is just unbelievable. So transcendent music, really, just because his talent is so obvious as a musician, songwriter, and a singer, and it's so authentic. So yeah, the legendary Son House, father of folk blues, Acoustic Sounds album. So there you have it. Everything from crazy bargains for £2 to quite expensive, actually, Acoustic Sounds reissues, but that is the joy and the breadth of record collecting. So there you have it. Please like, comment, let me know what you think. What ridiculous bargains have you managed to pick up out there? Or are you still in the camp that this hobby is crazily expensive, and that everything you buy involves selling the farm before you can enjoy it. So let me know what you think. Whatever you're doing, peace. See you later. Bye.